Welcome to the Three Rivers series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 5th of August 1935. So the harvest is on the way in, although we might have a bit of a problem with that. Now, before we get started, as usual, a big thank you for all your comments and feedback. You guys give me a lot to think about, and we do have a lot to think about because we've now had Dev Diary 62, where we got a little bit more information about waste management. Now, we don't have the detail, but we do have an idea of the size or the scale of the way waste management's going to work. And the two things I'm thinking about, because there's a very real possibility that this series will still be running when that update drops into the beta test branch. I know I'm well ahead of that. And one of them is going to be waste pickup, and that's going to need a road connection. So probably the best equivalent I can come up with at the moment is something like a bus stop. Because obviously the trucks have got to go into these regional waste pickup. That means that somehow I'm going to have to leave some space so that we can actually pick up the trash. And in fact, looking at this place, we may need to have two pickup points. So we may need to leave this area clear, or possibly over there, because there is a impression I get is going to have the waste disposal is going to work the same way as like the footpaths here, but it would have brown dots instead of blue dots. So it means that any waste pickup we're going to put in will have to be within walking range of key buildings. So that's going to be very interesting. Now, I don't want to talk about it too much because we don't have enough information, but I think we're going to need to plan that spacing in towns in order to be able to keep the series going. Now, the other main comment I got was, and I think I've been causing a bit of confusion down here with this area here. Now, this coal mine here isn't going to be my major steel production. This is just going to produce coal for the heating plant, the power station. I may put a second power station in, simply because we may need to run power over to here. So this would be more of electricity production area with a bit of coal, and also we're going to try and get in the things like the brickworks and the cement factory over here as well, so that we can produce building materials. But as you can see, we're now on 1935, and I think what I want to do is kind of explain the main strategy going forward, because once we get to 1938, the focus is going to shift up onto here, which is going to be totally different from the way that I've played previously, where you start in one point spread across the map. What I want to do is have two starting points. Eventually this will become the major location for various reasons. The first one is that this is very flat. Plus we've got some coal up here, so what we'll probably do is come up here, and this will be we'll have a small steel production area up here. But then we're going to move towards the major industries. And if you see up here by this part here is going to become a steel production area, and possibly with some manufacturing base. And so this is where the focus for some steel production, because we've got quite a large deposits of coal and iron there. Now, of course, oil's going to be interesting because we've got a small patch of oil down here, but that won't drive the whole economy. So the key question is going to be is where we're going to put our oil refinery. And my instinct is, if we can would be possibly round this town here. But what we were going to need to do then is open up the river to get access to the oil over here, which is going to be our main oil production. So we may have to use shipping to get the oil into here. But the plan is that the main industrial production will be in this top part of the map. Now, down here is going to be our main food production, everything to do with crops. You can see I've already put the hint on the map here by putting these fields in, although these will become... But so this central section will be our crop production area, and it will spread out right across this area eventually. Now, if you show you the map here, we've got a massive amount of iron up here. So there's a possibility, if we, in the long term, we may be building another steel production down here, but it won't be using this coal mine. It'll be using the iron from up here. And of course, we're going to have to But of course, what we're going to need to do is use rail, although shipping remains a strong option. Then, of course, we've got all the coal down in this corner here, which I would certainly like to get on the map and connect it up with railways as well. So this corner down here where we are currently working is going to eventually become a little bit of a backwater. To be honest, it's going to be, and a lot of the industry here will disappear, except for maybe any industry that's necessary to keep it going. And I think that may eventually apply to the town that we're going to build down here. Now, what I'm thinking here is that we may have a town divided by a river. So what we might have, if I show you the terrain, we've got a flat area here. So this may become a town of two sides. We'll have a town here which will supply the workers to the coal mine, which will need quite a lot of workers, the power station, the heating plant, the construction industry. And then on this side, what we'll have is another town which will provide the construction workers to start really pushing out things in this direction. Of course, one objective will be to making a connection to this a customs shed here, because of course if we're going to bring in some resources which we can't manufacture, this is going to be a closer distance than hauling them all down from up here. Now, so that's going to be the plan going forward. Now, what I've done since the end of the last video is I've bitten the bullet, and I've got my asphalt crew here. I don't know if you can see them. They kind of hid behind this truck here. But and I want to actually asphalt this road all the way down to here. In fact, I'll probably push it all the way to the border, because this is going to be our primary highway, and I think it's going to be quite important to get some speed on that. Because in the short game, in the early game, we're going to need it for the traffic coming down. But of course, in the late game, we may be sending traffic up to deliver things like electronics and stuff to this area. So from a rail perspective, we probably won't bring rail across the river. I don't think it'd be worth it. But we will have quite a major rail yard here eventually, and with emphasis on the word eventually. Now, on the other side, I am getting more and more interested about developing over this side, down this slope. And again, we're probably talking about a town down here with some coal mines, with a bridge across here for the iron mines, and then maybe a shipping line that should take coal, the raw coal and iron. I don't think we're going to produce steel or anything here. This will just be a raw resource area, shipping the coal and iron ore into somewhere where up to the north, where we can actually start turning it into steel and other products. Although this will be quite a long route to do, but this might just be there just to ensure that we get that regular supply of resources. Plus it's realistic. I mean, so that's where we are now. I do have a problem over here, because if I show you the silos, these silos, in fact we can jack the speed up now, these silos are filling up. So what I'm considering is that once these start to get completely full, we're going to start exporting the crops, because there's no point in letting them just rot in the fields. Yeah, so that's going to be something I'm going to need to keep an eye on. Now, on the good side is that because we built this here, we're actually now starting to produce fuel, which means that we're no longer importing fuel. So we've got rid of another major expense. You can see here, so we're not, I wouldn't say we're making real money, but we're actually starting to make a little bit more cash. You can see now what we're really importing, except for a little bit of coal, is our construction materials. You can see here, and of course electronics. And that leads me into something else which I'm still thinking about, which is the where's the mods, is the Santa factory. Where is it? This Santa factory here. We're gonna have to we got wood. We can import a little bit of steel and a little bit of electro components, because there's no point manufacturing electro components. And the idea is that if we build a Santa factory, I'm not sure where we're going to build it anyway. In fact, I'm not going to build it in this part. And the idea will be is that that factory will produce enough electronics in this area so that we can so even in the long term, this may keep this area going, because I don't think we consume that much. So we got 2.53 tons of electronics there. So it's not like we're producing large quantities of electronics. In fact, let's just have a look at the economy tab. If we look at this year, look at the imports, electronics. Yeah, well, I mean, we've imported 9 tons in, what's it, 8 months. So you're saying that we're going to need about, be generous, say about 12, 13 tons of electronics a year for this area at the moment, the present size, although that may grow. So that is the current situation. Now, the other area that I've got a little bit of source of concern with is the fact that at the moment, our 2 substations here are drawing through this single terminal here. So if we keep expanding, we may get more energy problems. Now, I am kind of thinking about maybe using more wind turbines around the edges to support things. But of course, we still got 1 power slot here. And I'm not sure. I think we will be able to power this. And I've finally made a decision with the respect to the gravel production. I think we will start to bring this up slowly, but we probably won't build the conveyors. So my instinct is to build this end of this production line so that we can get a supply of gravel down to the construction area there. I did go right along through here looking for potential gravel production, but I don't think it's really worth it. So we're going to bring the gravel online over a period of time. And say the good thing is now that our population is growing quite steadily. We've now got a happiness of 81%. We're still a little bit stuck with loyalty, but someone posted a comment saying that loyalty isn't an issue compared to happiness. So we're just going to have to keep trying to push that up a little bit. What they did suggest is the propaganda. I mean, we are getting this fairly steady 1.8 pressure from the radio station. I would just like to get the average to 40% so that we can start getting people in our schools, especially the school over here. If we could start to increase this to 40%, that would make quite a big difference. So that's something we got our, this is still building. I think something else someone pointed out is this CO95. What you need to do is reduce this down a little bit sometimes if you've got workers stood around doing nothing. But I think at the moment we're doing okay. But of course, one of the problems we will get is that once the asphalting is finished here, we're going to need workers to actually build this up. And of course, the problem with at the moment is that this is actually tying up my asphalt trucks. So, which is another problem. We got a fire. Oh, wow. Okay, we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Right, we got the fire crews. This is what I fear, especially in winter, because we don't have the snow clearance down here, and these fire trucks, they are fairly quick. You can see they've got maximum speed of 50 kilometers an hour, but it's going to be, so you can see how close it is with respect to getting down here for this farm. The only consolation is that if this burns down in winter, we will have a chance to rebuild it before the harvest starts again. The problem we will have is it will be an expensive loss of these trucks here. So we're kind of flying a little bit icky at the moment, sorry. Anyway, let's just get back to here. I mean, the fuel situation here, wow, we've got a full 20 tons. I kind of I just wonder, can we be... No, these are delivering fuel, aren't they? So we can't export fuel. I'm just wondering whether we can do a little bit of a fuel export thing here. We have space in... Oops, don't want that. We've got some space here, so if I buy an oil tanker, what's that? Right, we buy an oil tanker. We don't have a very... This is a Mack truck. Don't I have... Right, we've got an oil tanker here. We've got 6 tons here. It's going to cost 6,000 rubles. It's going to travel at 48. I think if we do that, get the oil tanker. Oops, where's these guys going? Oh, they're exporting food. So, and if we tell you to pick up from here, fuel, pick up fuel over 60% and export the fuel. I think we're going to need to work on here. So how much? Only 9.8 tons. So I think we'll build that first, and then we'll work to here. Oh, this isn't too bad. I feel that maybe we do need to get that built. I think that I was going to prioritize something else, but I think if this is becoming so efficient, wow. Okay. We do need to get this built so then we can start storing a long-term store of fuel there. What we got here? Oh, we got the heat exchanger there. I'm kind of reluctant to start planning too far ahead at the moment. I just want to see how things go, because of course the other thing we've also got is this here. But at the moment we could make a start on this. Yeah, I think we're also going to make a start on this, I think. Get this built. And this is another reason for exporting the crops, because we need to get some money here in dollars to actually pay for the prefabs to build this underground section. 664. I think we might get into equilibrium here actually, because I think what's happening is that this is now consuming a lot more fuel because we're actually getting... So we might actually get away with it. It's a bit unfortunate for the prefab situation, but that's the way it goes. So we got that. So this is now... So what are we waiting for here? It's just the workers, and workers. I think we're now getting a little bit more stability over here with respect to the power station, although we're still not getting the workers over here. We've got piles of logs. I think this guy needs workers to fell trees, but we're okay because we've got quite a big stockpile of trees here. On that point of view, I just want to check in here because this is more important. We do need to make sure this is running. Our heating plant is good. The one thing I do want to check here, last chance to buy, we do need to keep an eye on this gravel, because if that fills up, that will actually make stop our water supply working. I think I've loaded up enough jobs. I think if once this is finished, we should have enough capacity for a little while. We've still got this building here. I kind of think that I know we got this substation here. I kind of feel that if we we bring this online, this may be a little bit too much of a drag on the overall on these terminals here. So I'm wondering whether we need an actually dedicated power supply out here. We got this one here. We could run it out through. We need to put power to these as well. So what we're looking at is a power. We're looking at a substation out about here, aren't we? Although that one, these two we could do with a wind turbine. But if we put it there, or actually we put it, if we could power that one, let me just see. Say for argument's sake, I put it. Just zoom out a bit. I'm trying to get. Say for argument's sake, if I could get it, it'd be nice to. If I could get it in about there. Suppose it's going to be. It might get a collision with the conveyor. I think we're going to take a chance here. Can't build due to infrastructure. Okay, I'm going to put it about there. Hopefully we will be able to get road connection. Oh, look at that. Now, what we're going to need to do is run a... Right, we've got power supply to there. Zoom in, make sure. Actually, just cancel that. Destroy it. Put it on the ship. I want to make sure that I can get it so this actually connects. So say for argument's sake we go there. Get a nice overlap there, but part of me says come to here, possibly come through about there. This is where it might get a little bit tricky. Hopefully that is all connected. One way to find out is if we accept that. That's... You do this, if it highlights all the way, then you know it's all connected. If it doesn't highlight all the way through, it means you've got a broken connection. Well, it's highlighting all the way through, so we're okay. We don't need to build that just yet, but I'd like to put that in so that we ensure that we've covered that base. Whoops, again for some reason. So we're now getting here. What's our exports like? That 5,000. Nice. So last month we made 11,000 rubles profit. I'm trying to, and what I'm trying to do, I know some of you may think this is a little bit crazy. I'm trying to get this back to close to 1,000,000 rubles by 1938. The reason for that is that it means that when we go up north, we'll be effectively restarting the game with 1,000,000 rubles. I'm getting a bit of a traffic jam here. What's causing this? It's almost like, why do they want to come this way? I'm kind of thinking that maybe I need to bring my asphalting plan out here so that we can actually speed up this road as well. So we may need to do that as well. Let me just check over here and see how well the Dinky crew are. Right, I think we've now got to the point where I've got to bite the bullet and actually, no, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to, where is my, where's the bus board? This is High Valley buses. What we're going to do is then these guys out. We should have the. We don't need the diggers anymore. We just need. Who are you? Oh, you're these guys. You don't need to be on this either. And we don't need excavators. Oh, it's just auto-detecting. Yeah, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky because we don't have a roller. And again, somebody asked actually about the digging crews. And I think this emphasizes something about early starts is that when you do start early, one of the problems is when you play a Soviet country is that there are no excavators until about 1936, I think, is the first excavator will appear. Before that, what you've got to do is rely on what we call it. Let me just see if we come into here. The only excavators are the steam one and the horse-drawn one. Now, if I was starting in 1900, game run. If I was starting in 1900, I'd have no problem with that. But when you start in 1928, like I've done here, having the steam bulldozers and the horse wagons pulling up at gas stations is a little bit immersion breaking, but there's not much you can do about it. So in 1900, I'll be quite happy to have horse-drawn vehicles, and then we'd be using these vehicles right up until 1936, because the main source of excavators is actually the west over here, where you get a whole range of bulldozers and excavators. They're very slow. And of course, that prior to the introduction of realistic mode, that was something that you would do quite regularly. But of course now that's changed because you got to have access to a NATO post there. So I think using the diggers is okay because truthfully they all they do is act as a very low powered excavator in when you play in the game. That also applies to the other ones as well, the asphalt guys, whether they've gone, I can't remember where they are now. I think they're up here. Here they are. These asphalt guys as well, all they act as is a paver, because the paver is even worse than the excavators. If you play the Soviet game, you won't get a paver until about 1950. And I think the first paver you get is a NATO one, which is I think that's in the late 1930s. In fact, we might actually, let me just see. I think is it 19, we might actually have access to it. Let me just see. No, we don't have access to it just yet. And that also applies to the other big one, which is the road roller. Now, the road roller you won't get access to with NATO into 1936. But again, with the road roller, we won't get a Soviet road roller into the 1950s. So that means that until we get to the 1950s, building asphalt roads is going to have to be done with these guys. And you can see that this will take a long time. You can see here, we've still got 462 days. That means that building asphalt roads with an early start without access to the using the diggers and the asphalt crews is a painful process if you try to do it all with your kind of ordinary workforce. So that's a tip you want to bear in mind with early access. I mean, I'll be honest. I can't understand why there's not actually a roller introduced. They must have built asphalt roads in Eastern Europe in the 1930s, and I'm pretty sure someone would have come up with a roller, because the road roller is a kind of well, it's linked to the first traction engines, and I would assume that these eventually in the 1930s, every country or major industrial type country in the world would have had a roller. I mean, yeah, the paver's slightly different, but Oh, you would have thought they would have a roller, and we wouldn't have to wait until the 1950s to get one. Yeah, I mean, anyway, I think how are we doing down here? Actually, not doing too bad at the moment. We got at the moment we're kind of laying some groundworks and stuff down here as well. The cost is going to be these 50 prefab panels. So that is the way we're going. I mean, I think I'm kind of pushing things a little bit much now. Yeah, we're kind of, that means that we're going to run a risk of here. So we're going to have to be a little bit kind of conservative. I'll look at our messages. Stop production. Yeah, we're still getting that power fluctuating because I've got too many jobs now. And that's something, I'll just click those messages away. Again, something that's going to be very important when you do an early start is not to push too hard. Because if you get too ambitious, you get the impression that you're moving forward, but at the same time is you start to miss details, which could then lead to economic collapses and, more importantly, population collapses. Well, we're still getting prisoners escaping because we're not getting enough. We definitely need to try and get a full workforce here, consistent workforce. And I have to admit, this is something I greatly underestimated when I planned this town, is the sheer amount of workforce you need to run all these extra services now. It's not as easy as you kind of think it is. Unexamined criminal cases, that's 70. So we still got a bit of a problem. What is the crime situation then? I'm a bit worried about this, although it doesn't seem to be. It's almost like we are patrolling. A bit of a mystery there, I think. And again, I think it's down to the fact that we're not keeping this constantly full, which is a bit of a problem. But all right, so we've finished this. So this block is slowly filling up. I think this one is getting close. I'm kind of yeah. And I just want to make sure we're actually losing a few people here. So kind of, because I think we're gonna have to start allowing some less full. Yeah, full. I think maybe we need to let in a few ordinary citizens into this area. We do need to keep this accommodation full. This area is we losing population. How is the so we've got 1,923. We've still got nobody unemployed. I'm a little bit confused here because I was expecting these to be full, but I suppose people are just filling in these blocks as we go, so we don't need to rush this block, and we do need to work on this area because this is, I'd like to get some residential buildings out here as well. And of course we got the heating plant there. Busy, 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 so many things to do. I'm quite happy with the biofuel, but I'm starting to feel that I may not actually have to export crops. Okay, you're full. Right, we've got. What we need to do now is that these guys are parked. So what we need to do now is add you there. And you as well, because otherwise we're going to lose the crops in this area. So we got stuff stored, so we need these guys working, picking up the stuff from the fields, and this is where we're going to try and make some dollars. Otherwise we're just going to waste the crops there. See, and we're on October, so we may still lose some crops. I do feel that maybe we need some extra. I mean, I do feel that we may need some extra uh, covered holes down here as well. But what that should do is just have a look. Let's see, we've got all these guys charging towards the border. See how much money. Well, we're not going to make a vast amount of money, but it will make a difference. Look at that. Yeah, that's certainly going to push up our dollar income. Although we're going to need to keep an eye that we're still getting supplies up to here. Last thing we want is these to start running out of crops or something. Though we do have these guys. Where are you? Delivering up to here. Yeah. I'm wondering if we got the money flowing in, if we get another Mack truck covered hole. Probably it's very expensive. It is here. Or no, it's this one, isn't it? 5,000. No, it's not that one. It's this one. This one here. It's 8,000. So we just barely got enough money for it. I think we'll be okay. We'll just have to. I think some of the trucks are probably going up to deliver anyway. If I see a spare truck. Yeah, I mean, this guy's sat around doing nothing, so it must be happy the fact that this is being filled up. Right, this is nearly finished. It just needs workers. Kind of thinking. Trouble is, if I suspend this road, I think we're gonna suspend this construction. It's not important. I'd rather this could become a winter job, so that we can get. I mean, this. I need to stabilize this area here. I don't think I actually need this road here. I've kind of put this mud road in here, but I don't think I actually need it. Oh, the only thing I might need it for is actually see if we can get. There's a ridge line there, isn't it? Okay. I don't want to do that. What I'm trying to do is find a way. No, it's not going to work. Right, so we might as well remove that and that. That's too high. That means we're going to have to asphalt down to here because this is too steep. Yeah, so what we're going to have to do is repeat the process. Trim that off there. Yeah, we're going to have to repeat the process and asphalt down to here where it's a bit lower. Okay, we've got to stop production. So hopefully we can. Last chance to buy. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Looking good. I mean, apologies that I'm just seem to be talking about things in general, but as I said, at the moment I still don't feel I can push too hard. I feel that we need to get stuff in here. So we now got no one lives here. That's good, but that will sort that out. We just need to get this finished. This just needs a few more workers. This needs a mechanism. Of course, we've only got the one road crane, which I think I've now trapped down there. So, no, I think we got. What are we doing down here? This is doing quite well actually. No, okay, this is built in 2 sections. Okay. Resources, prefabs, yes. It's going to take a little while to haul the prefabs in. I'm a bit worried about this. We're going to have to build this in 2 stages. Because wondering. Let me just see. I've got a bit of a cause for concern here now. Oh, we can allocate it. Right. I had a sudden thought then that it may not let us build that section there. Been caught like that before, and I'd have really hated to have had to knock all this down just to get it done. Of course, we haven't built the actual sump, which I think is here, but we need to build that pipe first, and then we'll build that section in here. I think this is the sewage pickup point. I think generally, let's have a look at our. Yeah, these are filling up a little bit now, which is could be a bit of a problem. So maybe we do need to get this done. Yeah, 43%. It's not good. I think maybe we do need to get this. We need to get this sewage line working. Oops, don't want that. Want that. Don't want that. Got to press it twice with F1 to clear the grid. Yeah, I think maybe we do need to get that in. How about the water supply? Water supply is good. I just don't think we've got enough. What vehicles we got here? These are the. Yeah, we've got all our waste trucks working overtime now. I think maybe we need. Oh, yeah, we're getting a queue here as well. You're the you're the gravel boys, and the concrete. So I'm just wondering. You have 3 tons. You have 4 tons. I think we're going to get another one of these. I'm a little bit worried about the fact that all my sewage trucks are kind of working flat out, so get you into there. Yeah, I think the town's now, we're just approaching 2,000. I think the town now is getting that way. We've got no uneducated workers, which is good. We've got workers with lower education, workers with higher education. So I think we're getting to a point now where, actually, how high, what is the level of our education now? We got, yeah, I mean, we got most of our workers now are highly educated. So what I do want to do, let me just check. Yeah, we've got educated workers now going out. So we're going to have to use our educated workers to get things going. That's worked out quite well. I just wish we could get, we haven't even got to 39%. Let me just have a look at, do we have anyone who's over 40% at the moment? So we're just going to have a little bit of a look through. 37, 38. See, we seem to be stuck around 38% with our workforce with respect to loyalty. Yeah, I can't see anyone here even at 39. So we're getting to a mediocre 38%, which is yeah, see 38%. I don't know if we can push that higher with the radio. I'm not sure. We push the propaganda up. Maybe push that to 9. It's going to affect culture. That's 1.9. It's kind of. Can we live with enthusiasm? I don't think that's actually changed much, is it? I think I'm just doing more damage than good. So I think maybe we leave it at that. We may get a little bit more boost from that loyalty. We've now got 18,000. I think I will get the extra covered hole in. for the distribution office. We will buy that extra Mack truck covered hole. Where are you? 12 tons. 6.6. So we're going to buy. Is it the 12 ton? Yeah, we're going to buy that. And we're going to put you into there. Because this looks suspiciously empty. But we are keeping these silos full. I think we can recover from that. Yeah, it looks like our waste trucks are 53%. Okay, we've got a problem. How are we doing? 52%. We're going to need some more waste sewage trucks. We get 2 more. No, it's got no pipeline connection because as far as I know, this doesn't have a pipeline connection. Nope, it doesn't. Right, I just want to make... I still don't understand... What are you? Yeah, we do need this pipe built. Get down here. How are we doing? Right, this one is going quite well. This one is trucking along quite nicely as well. I just love this game. You think you got it cracked and everything is under control, and then suddenly you get something like this develops, and then because what will happen is if we get a lot of thing in here, you will find the health will drop. You can see the health is already having an effect. That could be partly due to alcohol, but I'm just wondering, we're not getting anyone actually saying that we got no. We're not actually getting a sewage problem at the moment, but it's on the borderline. How's the food situation here? Going through a lot of food as well. We need more. We're gonna need more workers here. What's the? We're gonna have to keep an eye on the food situation. Oops. Got 8.5 tons of food there. I'm kind of thinking, because we're probably exporting food. Let me just check. Yeah, I'm gonna push that to 70% now, because I think, let's just have a look. Not imports, exports. Yeah, we're exporting a lot of food, which is great, but there's that risk that we may strip food away from our there's that risk that we may strip the food away, especially in the winter. So I think I'd like to have more reserves in here. So 70%, which means that we should be able to keep that okay. Right. Happy with that. Right, we're now in November. I think we've kind of got away with most of the crop exports. This one's harvesting. I think we've emptied most of these. So we've got 14,000 in. So we're just kind of get rid of the rest of the crops here. These guys are parking up now because they've only got this field over here. So I think we got away with that. I'm reasonably happy within reason. Fuel is yeah, I think the biofuel, we need to keep an eye on this for the moment, but once this tank's built, we can push the fuel up into here, and then we can carry a bigger reserve, which we're going to need for when we export down that side of the mountain. That makes sense. This building is taking forever, but it's not crucial, is probably the polite way of saying it. We've got no alcohol, but we've got a little bit of alcohol here. We're going to need to keep an eye on that, because if these guys start to run out of alcohol, we actually export. How much alcohol are we actually exporting? Yeah, we're not exporting that much alcohol. And once this comes online, we'll be having even more alcohol in here as well. So that's something that we need to keep an eye on. Yeah, this one's just tied up with the prefabs. So it's all prefabs now. So, haha. Right. So this one now is all about workers. We need 97 days of workers, and we need 12 tons of prefabs. Actually, we haven't done too bad, actually, if you think about it. But we bought prefabs. So how much should we import in prefabs then? Imports, that would be Western countries, isn't it? So prefabs aren't really that expensive. So okay. Back to the perennial problem now of workers. It always seems to hit in the winter. I think we're going to suspend that. We don't need it for the winter. And how many jobs have we got now? All we've got is the waste pipe, which I definitely want built, and this being built. And I think that's all we're going to do now. Because one thing I have noticed is that once you get with the snow and everything slows down, your workforce actually starts that health is too low. What's up with this one here? Oh, this is because the first person's moved in here. And you always get that message when the first person moves in, because of course their health is just the area there. Yeah, and this is what I've been doing through the winter, is kind of restricting the number of jobs through the winter to the lowest level, to ensure that we get a good supply of workers to the power plant, and more importantly over here, the heating plant, and of course food and alcohol. So in some ways the kind of the town goes into a form of hibernation through the winter. We've now reached December. So what we're going to need to do now is come to here. We're just going to remove custom shed from there, because I don't want to remove you. And And again, just to make sure that we can get through. Turn you off. Oh no. Now we'll just put that there. And what? Make sure where you're going. And what this will do is ensure that we deliver the crops to the main town during the winter, because it's quite important. And I think that will work, because again, because we don't have the snow plows down here. Anyway, I've run out of time on this video, so this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. What I'll do is I'll play through until February, because not much is going to happen through the winter. So until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.